Alright guys, God, it's a bit dark, hang on. Let me just sort this out. Very dirty fan for whatever reason. There we are, much better. So, yeah, not done one of these videos for a while. Let me just stop the actual other tab so I can read comments if I get any. Yeah, not done a live hello one viewer. That's probably me. Yeah, not done a live video for a while. One of these sort of like rambly type videos. Mainly because it's been a busy few weeks actually. I had my dad come visit me towards the end of May, and then mid-June my mum, grandma, and my auntie came over as well. So not really been doing too much in terms of beer. I've recorded a few reviews this week because I had some beers that I needed to get drank, and yeah, missed out. Well, actually, no, there doesn't seem to be too many people doing the hangouts. I know that Rod did one last night, which sort of sparked me to do this video. And as always the case with these, I'm not going to be having anyone involved. It's not really fit for the live stuff. It's always easier for me to do videos like this because they upload straight to YouTube, and then I can answer comments much more better. I can't even formulate proper British English sentences right now. But yeah, I thought, you know, because as I'm sure some of you can relate, still out of work, and it's winding me up. I don't know how people can happily just not work. I just don't get it. This is not a fun lifestyle at all. I mean, I've got a fair bit more free time than most people, but it's just not doing anything for me, and it's winding me up. So just applied for some of the new job postings that I've found on various websites, and I thought I'd break up the monotony of it and do a little bit of a live hangout. As you can tell by the title, it's in relation somewhat to Ratebeer, although I will be talking about other things. So yeah, I was initially going to do a little video on that foul woman Anita Sarkeesian at VidCon and her outburst against Sargon, but don't ruin beer with feminism. Let's keep that completely separate. Plus, I'd probably just go on a big rant anyway. So I thought, with the fairly recent acquisition of Ratebeer by AB InBev, mixed with the fact that I've talked about most of this, what I'm going to be talking about today, a few times when I've done live hangouts and live reviews, specifically when we've gone on to the various websites to see how well said beer has been reviewed by other people. And we always go on that little bit of a rant about how you get certain beers, certain styles, certain breweries who just get so unfairly treated, and it just doesn't make any fucking sense. But the big disclaimer is, and I think we're all adults here, this hobby, like most hobbies and most things in general, completely subjective. So for the most part, there's really no right or wrong ways of doing this. There's no right or wrong way to review a beer. There's no real right or wrong way to rate a beer. So take what I say in this video with a tiny pinch of salt, because it's my own opinion. If you agree with it, that's fantastic. I wouldn't want to live in a world where everyone just agrees with each other on every little thing. That would be really friggin' dull. And if you don't agree with anything that I have to say, feel free to, air your views, whether it be during the live chat or down in the comments after this has been published to YouTube. This is just a hobby at the end of the day. I'm a hobbyist. I enjoy doing this. So I'm not going to get upset about this. I'm not going to get upset by acquisitions, takeovers, breweries, business practices or business relations. People here on BeerTube, if they review a beer that I love and they hate it, I'm not going to go crying to them saying, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why anybody would do that. But there are people who do that. So the first thing I want to talk about is rating beers in general. And like I said, there's no real art form to this. It's all down to personal preference at the end of the day. Everyone's palates are different. Everyone's mentalities are different. Everyone's way of doing things is different. So again, going back to that point, I'd hate to live in a world where people just did the same shit that everybody else did before or after them. If everybody on BeerTube reviewed beers in the same way, it would be one hell of a boring place. I mean, I know my videos tend to be low quality, but I like to think that there's some sort of personality there. I very rarely edit now because it's like, fuck it, just put up a review. If you mess up and it doesn't really affect the review, just keep it in, keep it natural. Sure, the videos might go on for 10, 13 minutes, but the fact that I get views on these videos anyway means that there are people out there who like to watch these videos, and I appreciate that. And some people do videos under 5 minutes. Some people like to do videos that go nearly onto the hour mark. And then you've got people who, like myself, every now and then I like to do really longer videos with other people, and I like how it all shakes up. You don't have to watch a video as soon as it's uploaded. That's the beauty of the internet and YouTube, is the fact that these videos are here unless they get taken down by YouTube itself or are deleted by the user. So a beer review that I recorded and uploaded when I first started is still kind of relevant in the same context as the beer review that's going to be uploaded today. There's really no lifespan unless it's sort of like a seasonal or that sort of thing. And I found where I get spikes in views on some of my old videos, and I'm like, why did that happen? But it's a beautiful thing. And I've completely lost my train of thought already. But yeah, I've got a cup of coffee here. But yeah, that's the beauty of YouTube. You can have short videos that are great to watch when you've got a few minutes to kill, and you've got the long videos when you've got like stuff to do around the house, or if you're waiting on something to pass the time. That's the beauty of YouTube. And the great thing about YouTube is the individuals who are part of it. And everyone's tastes are different. People do things different ways. Some people do stuff in ways that I wouldn't necessarily do so, but I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who watch my views and think, should you really be doing that? Should you really be focusing on that? And one of those big things, and it's a big discussion point, whenever I've seen live hangouts and people coming together discussing beer, is how people rate beers. For me personally, I use a numerical system out of 10. And I'm of the opinion, if you're doing it out of 5, you can have the 10, like the out of 10 and the 5 out of 10. They can still translate to each other. Like a 2.5 out of 5 is a 5 out of 10 in my book. 10 out of 10 is a 5 out of 5. That sort of thing. And yeah, fair enough. Some people don't agree with that. Some people like to do the sort of like grading system, like A plus to like, is it an F, which would just be an awful beer. Again, perfectly fine. And then you get some people who like to do out of 100, but then you'll get like, oh, this I'm going to give this one an 82 out of 100, and it's like that's. I appreciate that you're rating it that way, and I can see what you're saying with that score. But like, what's stopping that beer from being like an 82? Like, you've got a beer that's 82. What's stopping that from being like a? What would have to happen with that beer to be like an 87 or a 1 point more? What like difference in that beer would dictate that it gets an 83 out of 100 as opposed to an 82 out of 100? But like I said, different people, different things. It's completely fine. I'm not going to go on one of these tirades bitching about people about the way they do the beer reviews on YouTube. I mean, sure, you get those people who do like to prepare in advance, where they've already had the beer, and then they come on camera acting as if, oh, this is my first time drinking it, even though you can tell that half the beer's gone already. I've recorded videos like that where half the beer's gone, but I'll at least let you guys know and tell you that I fucked up, or I had technical difficulties and I still wanted to get a beer review out there. And I think as much as I enjoy doing this, and as much as I enjoy watching other people, I think it's actually such an imperfect concept. Because how many beers, and I'm talking to the guys who not only watch, but mainly to the people who do beer reviews themselves, how many times have you drank a beer that you've reviewed more than once? I know some people like to buy a 6-pack of it, which is, I think that's what you should do really, but not everybody can buy like 6 or 12 packs of the same beer, especially, you know, from their own personalities or their economic situation, that sort of thing. And a lot of people could, you know, even myself, I could pick points at me. It's like, well, Peter, you're probably never going to buy that beer again. So is that review that you've done it from your first time drinking it, is that really a fair review? And my argument would be, when you watch my reviews, you know, my mood can affect a beer. The world around me at the time can affect a beer. The time of recording the review can affect a beer. My feelings against the style can affect and somewhat influence the beer review. But I'd like to think that I am as objective as I am subjective. So I'll give you my opinions, but then I'll always try, and I did this when I was doing film reviews, I always try and look for like positives in things. I'm not really a positive person. I'm the kind of guy, it's like, is the glass half full or half empty? Well, it's half empty because you've drank half of it and you've only got half of it left. It's nearly an empty glass, in my opinion. I'm really quite pessimistic in that regard. But I do like to, unless it's absolutely unforgivably terrible, like Excelsior Lager, or I can get like a bit of humour injected in there, then I will go on a little bit of a rant about a beer or a film. But I always try and appeal to a broad audience, to the people who like that beer or that beer style, to the people who are getting into craft beer. I'm educating myself as much as I'd like to think that I'm potentially educating people out there. I mean, if you look at my reviews, it's primarily German beer, German traditional beers and German craft beer. And I get points where I'm like, I'm starting to get a bit burnt out by just like every video that I'm uploading is a German beer. But a lot of these beers aren't really available outside of Germany. So not many people can get hold of them. And when they do, it's like, it's quite a gamble sometimes when you come across beer that you've heard about or you've not heard of before. So, you know, I'd like to think that I appeal to those people as well as to the people who actually know what they're talking about and who know a hell of a lot more than me, because I really don't know much. And I don't like to make out that, well, this is clearly a Cascade hop. Yeah, I can pick out a Cascade hop because I've just happened to have drank a hell of a lot of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. And that's the predominant aroma you get from a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, so I've become familiar with it. And it's a journey for me, and that's what I love about it. And I've got to know some fantastic people, the UK beer tuber guys who I do hangouts with, the guys in the States that I do hangouts with, the people who I talk to on Facebook, the people who I will hopefully be meeting in person through YouTube, the brewers that I've met, the distributors that I've met, fellow beer geeks here in Germany that I've managed to bump into, excuse me. You know, that's almost, well, that to me is much more rewarding than that glass of beer that you're consuming, because it's only a beer at the end of the day. And I don't think we should be getting like angry or dictating our views in that way, like saying, well, I do it this way and this way is right, the way you do it is fucking wrong. That just doesn't help anyone. And it looks like I'm doing almost these weird shoulder movements, but I don't mean to. I'm sorry. Anyway, I had no viewers at all on this one, so it looks like I'll be getting most of my replies and comments after it's been published. But yeah, it's like, just don't worry if you think you're doing stuff wrong, if you're doing it a little bit differently than other people. Doesn't mean that your opinion on that beer means anything less than the person who you've just watched. If you're just starting out with this one, my best advice is, and this is going to clumsily segue into my next point, don't always go for ratings that you see online, whether it be a beer review, a review on a blog, or on websites like Ratebeer, Beer Advocate, Beer Index here in Germany, the Kalea app, Tap Finder, all of these sorts of social media platforms where people can give their opinions on beer and score it, rate it, break it down, that sort of thing. Don't always depend on that. I mean, if you see a beer that's rated like 95 out of 100 or 4.5 out of 5, chances are that the score is justified. So you might be inclined to pick that beer over one that's rated like 10 out of 5 or 40 and then like 72 in the style. Do you know what I mean? Ratings can help make informed decisions, but the best way I've found is to just take a gamble. Pick a bottle of beer because you like the label. Pick a bottle of beer because it sounds good. You know, just try different things. It's like that with life in general, I've found. I mean, look at it. I'm saying don't take people's opinions seriously, and it sounds like I'm preaching to people, but I'm probably preaching to the choir with the points that I'm trying to make in this video so far anyway. So then, rate beer. Now, I've gone on record plenty of times saying that I don't really take the scores on Ratebeer too seriously when I'm looking at beers to look out for. But that being said, I printed off like last year in June 2016 the top 50 rated German beers because I wanted to try those beers that seem to have a bit of buzz about them and a bit of a reputation. And you'll see on all my beer reviews, I put a link when possible to the Ratebeer score, the Beer Advocate score, and the Untapped score. Because I know there are people out there who do like to go to those websites when they're looking at beer. And again, it's that whole concept of like trying to appeal to a broader audience, which is working well because I only get about 17 videos per video. 17 views per video, but yeah, I always put that information down there. And I've got an example because I wrote stuff down, but we'll get to that in a minute. I have found, and you can see the dirty fan there again, I just can't clean the dust off it. And I think it's just ever so slightly blowing off. So my asthma could kick in at any time, by the way. Or at least I'll get a runny nose and sore eyes. But one of the main things that I like about Ratebeer is it's a great database when you're looking for bars, breweries, tap rooms, pubs, bottle shops. When you've gone to a new area that you're very unfamiliar with and you want to know what's the beer scene like, you can type in the location and it'll give you a big list of what's available there. It helped me out a lot when I was in Munich recently, finding the addresses to the shops and what some of the higher rated beer places are in Munich. I like to do it here again because I've been pleasantly surprised about some of the bottle shops that I found here in Regensburg. It's great. It's great for that sort of thing, I find anyway. What I have an issue with Ratebeer is, and I can completely get why it's like this, because it's the people who use Ratebeer are primarily Americans, because it's an American website. I mean, it is slightly international. You get members from all over the world, but it is predominantly an American website, I found. So, of course, I have to get that fan out of the way. It's disgusting. I found that when you go into the top 50 lists, chances are, no matter what the style, no matter what, it's got to be predominantly full with beers from America and North America. So I can completely get that. I get it. It's primarily an American resource. What I don't get, and I'm picking out this specifically, is just how badly treated lagers are. I'm in Germany, as you guys know. I'm in Bavaria. I am surrounded, absolutely surrounded by beautiful, traditional German beer. And in a heartbeat, I would pick some of the more traditional German beers over taking a risk on some of the craft beers that are available here in Germany, not just from German brewers. So I'm surrounded specifically by high quality, beautiful lagers. And as you guys know, for me, and remember, it's all about my opinion. This isn't fact. None of this is fact. This is just my pure opinion. You all know that the Augustiner Lager Beer Helles is, for me, the best. Not only the best lager in the world, but the best beer. And at around 80 cents per 500 milliliter bottle, you know that I drink a lot of this. And I even went to the Augustiner Bräustube, I think it was called, which is connected to the brewery itself. I'd love to actually go into the brewery if they do tours and stuff. Had this on cap, fresh from the barrel, 500 ml glasses for €2.50, and it was just, it was heavenly. It really, really was. So, how does Ratebeer treat this beer then? And this, again, don't take this seriously. This isn't a well-researched or well-thought-out argument. I was just doing a very quick look because it was in my head, and I thought I'd morbid curiosity, see what happens. So if I can actually find the fucking thing, because I use this for when we do our live beer reviews. If I well, I haven't done it for a long time now when we do live beer reviews, but when I want to talk about like the history of the brewery, you know, go all rampant line reviews style, which, by the way, if you've not subscribed to him, definitely do so. If you want to find out more about the breweries and the beers that he reviews, a wealth of knowledge and a great guy, which always helps. So, what I decided to do was pick 5 very highly regarded German lager beers, and then pick out 5 very highly regarded Doppelbocks, because a Doppelbock is essentially, it's a strong lager. And I thought I'd do a little bit of an investigation. Very professional. It cost millions for me to conduct this, as you will clearly tell. So then, here are the Helles beers that I picked. So, of course, Augustiner Lagerbier Helles. I picked the Hackeshaw Munich Helles, the Paulaner Munich Helles, the Weinstefaner Original, and the Schlenkerla Helles beer. So, according to Ratebeer and the people who rate on the website, Augustiner got 42 overall, but 90 for style. That fared surprisingly a lot better than the Hackeshaw Munich Hell, which only got 22 overall with 46 for style. Faring a little bit better, we have Paulaner Munich Helles, 37 overall, 84 for style. Even better still, Weinstefaner Original, 44 overall, 92 for style. Schlenkerla Helles, 81 overall, 100 for style. Let that sink in. The Schlenkerla Helles beer, which has elements of the smoked malt in there, got a pitch perfect score of 100 for a Munich Dortmunder Helles. How can that be? I mean, great score, don't get me wrong, but how can that get 100 out of style over both, well, all 3, right, Munich-based beers, the Paulaner Munich Helles, the Hackeshaw Munich Helles, and the Augustiner Lagerbier Helles? How can that happen? Do you want to know what number 1 was on the list? Hill fucking Farmstead's Marie. 96 overall, 100 for style. Again, I understand it's an American website. Hill Farmstead is, you know, a very highly regarded American brewery. But how are you telling me that the best Munich Dortmunder style Helles beer, according to Ratebeer, is a fucking American? How does that work? I don't think you'll ever find, let's flip it over, American style pale ale. I'd be saying the exact same thing if it was a German brewery or craft brewery that had the highest rated American style pale ale. I just don't get the mindset. And you read the comments under these beer reviews for all these traditional German beers, and it's like, oh, it's boring, not very flavorful, not very exciting. It's a fucking Helles beer. It's not supposed to be like a massive flavor sensation. And one thing that I will give Hill Farmstead from my very, very thorough but brief research is at least that seems to be brewed to style. And not one of these bastardized, overly hopped, resiny messes. I hate that. I absolutely hate lagers that don't taste like fucking lagers. So I can't attest this because I've never tasted it. I will probably never get the opportunity in my life to try Hull Farmstead's Marie. But at least it sounds like a beer that is brewed to style. Going off the comments underneath the beer. So, out of the top 50 rated Dortmunder style Helles, Munich, Dortmunder / whatever, guess how many German beers were in that list? 6. 6 out of 50 of these lagers were only German. How does that even work when you've got countless breweries in even the smallest of regions and areas in Germany? And a lot of these beers do get exported around the world. Of course, they're nowhere near as widely available internationally as they are domestically. But how can only 6 of these beers be German? I don't get it. I just don't understand that. Augustiner voted as a less than average Helles for its overall rating, but it still gets very good marks for its style. I mean, come on, Hackeshaw Munich Hell is not a 22 overall beer, and it's definitely not a 46 for style. It's brewed in Munich, for fuck's sake. How on point for the style do you need to be? It's been brewed for countless years. It's now part of the Paulaner. Is it it's part of Paulaner now? So you've got Paulaner's brewing tradition in there. How can a Paulaner Munich Helles be 37 overall? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments. Make your own responses or whatever. That just says to me, if you're using rate beer for this type of beer, it's not a reliable source, in my opinion. I'm sure people can come up with points that will refute my point that I'm making. But to me, that is utter fucking nonsense. Even some of the biggest brewed Pilsners and lagers here in Germany have the quality. It genuinely boggles my mind. But you know what? If people don't want to buy it and don't want to drink Augustiner Helles, I'll drink it. I'll take everyone's bottle of Augustiner Helles because I think that's just a beautiful tasting beer. And it is just spot on for its style. Because it would be. Because it's been brewed. Well, the brew was founded in 1328. How could a brewery like that exist and have its popularity if they only brewed a Helles beer that's less than average and not really quite to style? It doesn't make any sense to me. It just really doesn't. I mean, fuck, I want to try this Hill Farmstead Marie now because that sounds absolutely wonderful. And I have tried some American interpretations of the Hellas lager style. That'd be really good. You know, again, America. A lot of people drink lager in America. You know, the big boys all brew lagers, whether it be adjunct or to traditional styles, that sort of thing. But I cannot accept that the best Hellas lager beer is brewed in America. Maybe if it was like a traditional brewery founded by a German, you know, I could probably defend it a little bit more. But yeah, I think that's an absolute travesty. That, and I'm getting butthurt a little bit. No, I'm not. You know, I'm not going to lose sleep over this because I love this beer. It's the best beer in the world to me. But because somebody doesn't like it doesn't mean I'm going to dislike them. You know what I mean? But there are people who are like that, who will take these, who will look at this list the same way that I'm doing and be absolutely infuriated. I just find it quite comical. And the fact that the best out of all these lagers, and I think the Schlenkerla Hellas was actually the best rated Hellas beer on Ratebeer. Somehow has 100 for style, even though it's brewed with a very slight, you know, smoky character. But yeah, I'd say Augustina and the Paulana are much more to style than the Schlenkerla one, to be honest. Well, I'm not saying that Schlenkerla Hellas is a bad beer. I think about it, I had it once a few years ago, actually, before I was really getting into beer. I think it was the Hellas beer. Really nice beer. Schlenkerla, one of the best breweries in Germany. I'm not going to dispute that. But you're not telling me that a slightly smoky Hellas beer is 100 to style. But again, my opinion, feel free to present your case if you so wish. So then, after I researched that, I thought, well, why not look at the Doppelbocks? Because Doppelbocks are strong lagers at the end of the day. Let's see how they fare. And it's almost a completely different story. So the beers that I decided to pick, and these are primarily off my preference. But the thing is, when it comes to the actual, like, the top 50 rated Doppelbocks, there's a bit of a problem that I will briefly discuss. Because one of these beers, even though it's a Doppelbock, is listed as a Rauch beer. I think you can guess which one I'm talking about. And the other one is described as a Weizenbock. So it wouldn't appear in the same category, I don't think. I say I don't think. I did manage to look at the 50 and mark down how many beers were German and how many weren't. But yeah, going back to Augustina, the Maximator Doppelbock. 95 overall, 97 for style. Weltenberger Assambock. 98 overall, 100 to style. Eyinger Celebrator. 100, 100. Eicher Doppelbock. 99, 99. And Unser Aventinus, and remember, this is under Weizenbock, and Eicher Doppelbock is obviously under Rauchbeer, so it's not exactly the most reliable study that I've funded. But Aventinus got 100, 100. Well done, Ratebeer. You got that right. You really, really did. You got that spot on. Personally, though, I think Assambock is a better beer than Celebrator, even though all of these beers are world class. Of course, Eicher Doppelbock, it's 99 for style of a Rauch beer, so we'll put that out there. And the Aventinus is 100 for style as a Weizenbock. Can't argue with those, even though I would say Well, actually, no. I think the Eicher Doppelbock shouldn't be 100 for style. Or will it? Because there's so many different ways you can interpret a Ratebeer. So you can see, and I made this point before, it's an imperfect system in general. So I'm complaining about an imperfect system. I'm complaining about an imperfect hobby. There is rarely no definitive answer. I think that's the underlining theme with this whole thing that I'm doing. And hello to my one viewer right now. There is no right or wrong. All of these ratings based on people's opinions, collected opinions. This video is about my opinion. It's imperfect. And I'm kind of going against what I'm saying by making a video dedicated to this and kind of complaining about it. Am I going to lose sleep about this? No. Is it going to bug me for the rest of the day? No. As soon as I've finished this video, I'll just move on. But I thought I'd make this video anyway. So I was actually really quite happy with how that was turning out until I went to the top 50. And although the German beers fared a lot better than they did originally, let me just quickly tally this up. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 37. 37 of the beers in that list were not German. I mean, you had like the odd Austrian beer there as well, and some other European interpretations of the Doppelbock. But only 13 of the top 50 for what seems to be a very popular style, even for the American market, for German brewed Doppelbocks. I was really surprised that only 13 appeared in the top 50 list. And yeah, I don't know. It sort of makes sense to me because, again, it's an American website and a lot of the user base is American. I mean, thankfully, the highest rated, of course, was Celebrator from Iinger. So that's great to see. And I think all of these beers mentioned, as you can see by the scores, they were all higher up on the list, which is fantastic and just deserved. But yeah, it's like making me think, like, why the bias towards the Helles beer, but then you rant and rave about a slight different interpretation on the lager style with the Doppelbocks. I mean, I know they've got different flavour profiles and they're a bit stronger, that sort of thing, but they're essentially the same thing. And Germany has built its reputation on the lagers, whether it be Dunkel, Schwarz, Zwickel, Keller, Unfiltered in general, or Box, Doppelbox, Weizenbox, Maibox, Fest beers. You know, Germany is a beautiful country for beautiful lager type beers. And got a comment from Tony who says, might be the one viewer, LOL. I appreciate that, Tony. Always great to see your name mentioned. Hope you're doing well, my friend. And I was saying at the start of the video that it's primarily for when the video gets uploaded after the broadcast, which I'll probably get the better reception and hopefully some comments and maybe some counter arguments to what I've been saying. But I just wanted to somewhat point out the absurdity of reviewing beers in general. I love doing it, but even though I am doing it, you can pick out many problems. But I don't think we should be really losing sleep or like ragging on people because of the way that they do beer reviews. Because if everybody did it the same, I just wouldn't do it. I'd find it so fucking tedious. But yeah, so talk to her about a few things. Hopefully you'll want to watch the rerun, Tony, and give me your opinions on some of the stuff that I've mentioned, because I think we sort of fall in alignment with some of the stuff, especially with the fact that how can a German brewed traditional German style beer not really get the fanfare that it deserves. But an American like craft interpretation of the style is like, oh, it's perfect for style, it's perfect for flavor. It doesn't make sense to me. And I think we've even talked about it when we've done hangouts as well. So yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about on this one. How do you see Ratebeer for the people watching this? How do you use rating websites in general? If I was to pick one of those sites, I'd probably pick Untapped because I like the social aspect of it. I mean, of course, I'd pick YouTube any day. This, to me, is probably the best resource. And I was making the point that you shouldn't really take people's opinions too much to heart. But when I'm listening to like a friend of mine talk about beer, I'm probably gonna, if they say it's really good, that's gonna stick in my head and think, oh, do you know what? Such and such said this beer was fantastic. I might be more inclined to give it a go. And if they say it's bad, I won't completely be put off by trying the beer, but I'll be like, oh, okay, you said such and such person said this isn't really that good of a beer. They suggested doing that one. I'm probably going to go for the beer first that they suggest. But I'm always of the opinion it doesn't matter if it's a world-class beer or a beer that's absolutely shat on. I want to give it a go because I want to try stuff on both sides of the quality. What's the word I'm looking for? A spectrum. Because you've got to taste bad beer to know what bad beer tastes like, and it helps you pick out flavors in good beers a lot more. So, message, Peter's final thoughts is enjoy the hobby, don't take it too seriously, and don't bicker about things like how to rate beers. There is no right or wrong way. There are ways that I like doing it, and there are ways that I don't like doing it. But I'm not going to turn on someone because they might use a letter grading system like in the school system, or if they're going to rate it out of 100. I don't really care about the ratings. I'm more about watching the person themselves. They could be talking about the worst beer in the world, but if they're talking about it in a way that I find engaging, it's even better for me. It's even more better than actually what they're saying about the beer. And that's what I like most about this. It's the personalities and it's the people. It's the fun that you can have. It's coming together, having hangouts. It's coming together, having meetups outside of YouTube, which I'm hoping to do at least next year. And yeah, speaking of which, got a live review coming up on next Saturday with Dean, so look out for that one. Not sure when I'll be doing another sort of hangout with people. It's always hard, but yeah, I just thought I'd shoot this video. Anyway, guys, I've waffled on for way too long. Thank you to anybody who has watched live, of course. Massive thank you for Tony for the comment. And again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this subject. And yeah, that goes out to all you guys as well. Just hit me up with your opinions, counteract some of my arguments, and the cat's having a coughing fit, so I'm going to go now. See you guys later.